When Anna left the city, she wasn't running away from life, she was running toward peace. The countryside promised quiet days, honest work, and a chance to start over. But sometimes the people who seem the simplest hide the deepest stories. She thought she married a humble farmer. She didn't know his past was buried just beneath her feet, in the old barn behind their home. The old bus groaned to a stop on a dusty country road. Anna Hayes stepped out, clutching her single worn-out suitcase. Her life in the city was over the lies, the heartbreak, the noise. Willow Creek was quiet, simple, and almost too quiet. She found work at a small diner that smelled of coffee and cinnamon, where every stranger knew every secret except hers. That's where she met Jacob Reed, the quiet farmer who sat at the same booth each evening, ordering black coffee and apple pie. His voice was calm, his smile faint, and his eyes carried something heavy, something unspoken. He began offering her rides home after her shifts, his old truck rumbling down dirt roads under fading sunsets. Their conversations were short but deep, about the weather, about crops, about second chances. "You seem like a man who's lost something," she once said softly. He smiled. "Maybe I found what I needed instead." Over time, their friendship blossomed into something tender. Jacob showed her how to plant seeds, how to listen to the wind before rain came. He never spoke of his family or his past, and she didn't push. Some wounds are better left buried, she thought. When he proposed under the golden light of an autumn sunset, Anna said yes. He wasn't rich, but he was kind, and that was all she thought she needed. But there was one thing she never understood: why, every night after she fell asleep, Jacob would take an old key, step into the barn, and stay there until dawn. Sometimes she thought she heard faint noises, metal clicking, paper rustling, but when she asked, he'd only say, "Just taking care of things, Anna." And every time, his eyes carried that same sadness, as if his past was whispering from the shadows of the barn. Months passed, and Anna settled into her new life. She woke before sunrise, fed the chickens, and watched Jacob tend to the fields. The rhythm of farm life soothed her, but even in peace, unease crept through the cracks. Jacob was gentle, loving, but distant, like a man forever listening for footsteps behind him. She noticed how he froze when the mailman came, or how he refused to go into town on Fridays. Sometimes she'd catch him standing alone in the barn, staring at the floor, lost in thought. One evening, while sweeping the barn floor, her broom struck something hollow. She brushed the hay aside and discovered a trapdoor, old, heavy, with new nails. Her curiosity flared, but before she could touch it, Jacob's voice startled her from behind. "Anna," he said sharply, "don't ever go down there." His tone wasn't angry, but fearful, as if protecting her from something. She nodded, but her heart raced. Why would a farmer have a hidden room? That night she watched him from the bedroom window, lantern in hand, walking toward the barn. The door creaked open, the light flickered, then disappeared. Anna lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Love demanded trust, but trust demanded truth, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the man she married wasn't who he claimed to be. The next morning, Jacob left for the market. The moment his truck disappeared down the road, Anna hurried to the barn. She lifted the trapdoor. Its hinges squealed in protest. A narrow staircase led down into darkness. Lantern in hand, she descended slowly. The air was cold, the floor littered with dust and papers, but what she saw made her knees tremble. Photographs, files, old newspaper clippings pinned to the walls. One headline froze her in place: Detective Jacob Reed missing, presumed dead after corruption scandal. Jacob, a detective. Boxes labeled Operation Willow were stacked in the corner. Inside them were case notes, evidence photos, and names she didn't recognize. And there a revolver, rusted but well kept, Her mind swirled. He wasn't a simple farmer. He was a man running from something or someone. Then the barn door creaked open above. Jacob's boots echoed on the wooden floor. Anna, his voice echoed down the stairs, calm but heavy. "Why couldn't you just trust me?" The lantern flickered as his shadow filled the doorway. Jacob descended slowly, his face calm yet filled with pain. He took off his hat and sighed. "I used to be a detective," he said. "Chicago PD. I exposed a ring of corrupt cops. They killed my partner. When they came for me, I had to disappear." Anna's eyes watered. "And the gun, the files, what are you still doing with them?" He looked around the room. "It's proof. One day the truth will matter. I couldn't let them erase it." Her voice trembled. "You could have told me. I wanted to." He said softly, "But I was tired of being hunted. I just wanted a normal life with you." The silence stretched, broken only by the rain tapping on the roof. Finally, Anna said, "I don't know if I can trust you." Jacob looked away. "Then trust what I've built, the fields, the home, and the love. That's all real." She wanted to believe him. And part of her did. But as thunder rolled across the valley, she knew secrets like his didn't stay buried forever. 2 weeks later, headlights appeared at the edge of the property. A black SUV stopped by the barn. Anna's heart raced. Jacob stepped outside, his face calm. A man in uniform approached. Sheriff Collins. "Jacob Reed, it's over. The men who framed you, they've been caught." Jacob exhaled, shoulders trembling with relief. "It's finally done." The sheriff nodded. "You're free to come home." Anna stepped out of the doorway, clutching her shawl. "Home," she whispered. Jacob smiled faintly. "Right here. This is home now." For the first time, his eyes looked lighter, free. They stood in silence as the SUV drove away, headlights fading into the night. The storm was gone, and for the first time the barn didn't feel haunted anymore. The sun rose over the fields, golden light spilling across the barn. Jacob and Anna stood side by side, burning old files, letting the smoke drift into the sky. Each paper that turned to ash was a memory released. Inside, the trapdoor remained, but now it opened to something new. Jacob transformed the hidden cellar into a small studio, a space where Anna could paint, where light replaced shadows. He began helping local kids, teaching them about courage, about truth. The man who once hid from the world had finally stepped back into it. One morning, Anna watched him from the doorway and said, "You don't have to hide anymore." He smiled gently. "Neither do you." The wind moved through the wheat, carrying away the last echoes of fear. The secrets that once lived in shadows are gone now. The barn no longer hides his past, it holds their future. In the place where he buried fear, they planted forgiveness, because sometimes love doesn't need to forget the past, it just needs the courage to face it. Every story hides a truth, and every truth deserves to be seen in the light. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There are more stories waiting of love, loss, and redemption, just like this one. Thank you for watching, and remember, even the quietest lives can hold the loudest secrets.